Hello everybody. We like to believe that intimacy is a structure built on the solid ground of shared memories. We look at the person we love, and we see a library of every laugh, every fight, and every promise made over the years. But what happens when that entire library is burned to the ground? What happens when the database of the mind is suddenly wiped clean? This is the true story of Chris and Stephanie Grosvenor, a young American couple whose life was perfect until it wasn't. It started with a medical crisis, a trauma so severe it triggered a rare, devastating form of amnesia. When Chris finally opened his eyes in that hospital room, the world hadn't changed, but his mind had. He looked at Stephanie, his wife, his partner, the woman who knew his soul, and he felt nothing but confusion. To Chris, Stephanie was a total stranger. Years of marriage. Their very first date at that small diner. Their wedding vows whispered in front of friends and family. Everything was gone. Just a cold, terrifying blank space. Imagine the psychological depth of that pain. To hold the hand of the person you love, only to have them gently pull away because they don't know who you are. The intimacy they had spent years building was erased in an instant. Most stories would end there. Most people would walk away, broken by the weight of a love that had become one-sided. But Stephanie understood a fundamental truth that many of us forget. She realized that while Chris had lost his memory, he hadn't lost his capacity to feel. Instead of forcing him to remember old Chris and old Stephanie, she invited him into a new life. They started from zero. They went on first dates again. They had long conversations about their favorite colors and their deepest fears, as if they were teenagers meeting for the first time. She didn't try to fix the broken pieces of the past. Instead, they built a whole new empire of new memories. The struggle was real. There were nights of frustration and days of foggy uncertainty. But through the science of connection and the power of persistence, something miraculous happened. Chris didn't remember his wife, but he fell in love with her all over again. In a world where it's so easy to walk away when things get complicated, this story serves as a powerful reminder. True motivation isn't about conquering the world outside. It's about having the courage to rebuild the world inside, with the person you love. Because in the end, love isn't what we remember. Love is what we choose to protect. Thank you for watching.